Hi everyone, Chester here from my home office in Auckland, New Zealand. This is another weather update. I'm going to focus mostly on the European heat wave that is coming. An unusual hot stretch coming for Western Europe, but if you want to see more on St. Louis and DMV weather, you can watch the entire video and we'll talk more about that at the end, or you can just scroll ahead towards the end of the video. Okay, with that said, we're going to cover the European heat wave and the rain opportunities of the next few days across parts of DC and St. Louis for my followers there on Facebook. Okay, with that said, let's talk about this European heat wave. We've got the windy map on the screen right in front of you, and what's happening here. This is the forecast for temperatures Tuesday afternoon, and temperatures well into the 30s Celsius, which is 80s to around 90s Fahrenheit. That is unusual, not just unusual for much of Europe, especially France and England and out towards the Netherlands and Belgium and Germany. But it's super unusual because it's not even summer yet. It's an early season heat wave. It's the end of May, and we're talking about temperatures that are scorching hot by European standards, all thanks to a very strong ridge of high pressure that is building across the area. So let's talk about what's happening. This is the Polar Weather website, and that's where I'm getting this particular mapping from. And you can see that red that's showing up there. That is an unusually hot area that is developing across parts of Western Europe. It's a ridge of high pressure that's going to stick around for the next several days. In fact, this is Monday afternoon and evening. We take it all the way to Tuesday, and we take it into Wednesday. You can see that red area just continue to just kind of expand and hang around parts of Western Europe. Eventually, the ridge does get somewhat squashed, and when that happens, we start to see that heat abate or break down just a little bit. The ridge starts to break down. So what's happening there? Okay, let's go back to the beginning here. We've got this area of low pressure right here on your screen. There it is. And what it is, it's blocked. It's blocked from moving to the east. Typically, this would move east towards Europe and produce a weather change. But right now, it's being blocked by this high pressure center right here. So this high pressure center over Europe. And that ridge of high pressure it's stalled out. It's not moving much. We call this a blocking pattern. So in concert or in combination with this ridge here, and then this ridge sitting over the southern Atlantic, and then a ridge here across eastern Canada, this low is pretty much surrounded on all sides. It cannot move. So the jet stream is like this, okay? You ready for it? I'm going to draw the jet stream here in pink. We've got the jet stream going up and over this ridge, under the low, then around this ridge, and then shooting up to the north and east, well north of Europe. And when you have a situation like that, and this ridge isn't moving much, you're blocked. You can't move much. You get a hot, stagnant air mass. And this time of year, even though we're not quite to summer, very close, that's going to lead to potentially record-breaking heat across parts of Europe. Out here over the low, it's unsettled, low pressure, much cooler than average, colder air diving in from Canada and the poles, but doesn't impact much land except for maybe Newfoundland. Maybe I might have one or two viewers there, but the idea is that generally the weather pattern is not going to impact a lot of land here. So with that said, we get this record-setting heat expected across parts of Western Europe. Let me show you the forecast temperatures. This is Tuesday when some of the peak may be heating. The peak of the heat may be occurring. One of the hottest days of the upcoming week. Okay, max temperature in Celsius. Parts of France, the UK, the Low Countries, over to Germany and down through España, Spain, and Portugal. We're talking temperatures in the middle and maybe even upper 30s. In Celsius, in Fahrenheit, that's mid-upper 80s to middle 90s. This is really hot weather that we're expecting across parts of Western Europe. Look at Spain, for example. This is now in Fahrenheit. You can see temperatures showing up here in the 80-90 degree range across parts of Spain here on Tuesday, and a similar story on Wednesday. These are middle 90s. There wouldn't be surprised if a few spots ended up around 100 degrees on Wednesday. Let's go to France, okay? A similar story, very hot weather there. We're expecting temperatures, this is Wednesday afternoon, to be into the 90s. So again, 35 to almost 40 degrees Celsius across parts of France. Paris is a little bit cooler on on Wednesday, but you go back to Tuesday, you can see temperatures here, upper 90s, a lot of 80s, widespread, just really hot weather. England, similar story, just unusually hot weather. Look at London here. It's showing up in the 90s on the computer model here, so 94, that's like about 34 degrees Celsius, 33, 34 Celsius, almost 35 degrees Celsius on Tuesday. Let's go to Wednesday of this upcoming weekend. It does get cooler, so at least the heat does abate there. But again, we've got an unusually hot weather pattern that's developing across parts of Western Europe. So record-setting heat, early season heat wave for us in Western Europe. Let's head back to stateside, and I want to talk about this heavy rain potential in the days to come here. So I'm going to show you the map here. We've got St. Louis there in the map there, and the DMV here. And this is rain next 5 days. So it includes Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And the heaviest rain stays south of Metro St. Louis and stays south of the DMV. What is that for the DMV? Maybe half an inch upwards to 2 inches of rain over the next 5 days. And for Metro St. Louis, some of that will be thunderstorm driven, maybe quarter to half inch, with isolated spots seeing a little bit more, maybe closer to an inch if you get a couple downpours. The heaviest rain is going to stay south, East Texas, eastern parts of Texas, and down through Louisiana, Mississippi, the Carolinas, Georgia, where we're expecting 2 to 5 inches. And there's an area here just east of Houston into parts of Louisiana near Baton Rouge and north and east of Beaumont, Texas, where we could see 4, 5, 6, 7 inches of rain over the next several days. It's stuck in a pattern where a lot of Gulf moisture, the southern jet stream is active, and you continue to see just active weather moving across that portion of the United States. So let's get to the St. Louis forecast. A quick look there. Next 3 days, STL. Saturday looks dry for the most part, low risk of rain. Same with Sunday, and then Monday, Memorial Day, you're in the low 80s. There is a risk of an isolated shower or a thunderstorm that day, but most areas will stay dry. Quick look at the long-range forecast for St. Louis, and you can see temperatures are going to ease back into the early or low to mid-70s later in the period towards next weekend, but Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday is unsettled with scattered thunderstorms in the forecast, but no widespread severe weather expected. For DC and the DMV, just kind of a raw Saturday, raw start to the Memorial Day weekend with temperatures 50s to maybe 60 degrees. It's rainy, damp. Same story on Sunday, but you're on the warm side of the front, so it gets a little bit warmer. There is a risk for some thunderstorms afternoon, evening, and then we'll shoot up to 80, and actually Monday doesn't look all that bad. There's an isolated shower or thunderstorm risk there too. And a quick look at the extended forecast for DC. Once we get past Tuesday, Wednesday, the rain chances start to go back down, and we'll see a cooling pattern with temperatures in the 60s to around 70 degrees. Okay, thanks for watching this video. Again, would love to hear your feedback. Would like to know what you think of this, what you think of this content. I'm hoping to do some more content as well on El Nino coming up, as El Nino is forecast to develop over the next few months, not just from the National Weather Service, but from my current employer, Earth Sciences New Zealand, where just it's all the buzz in the weather world. I'm going to talk about that and the potential for super El Nino as well. And we'll look ahead to the next few months and how that may impact the weather in St. Louis, the DMV, other parts of America, and then in New Zealand too. Unfortunately for Aotearoa, New Zealand does look kind of like drought is most likely outcome for much of the country. Not a given, but it is high potential. So we'll talk about that sometime in the next week or so. In the meantime, again, give me your feedback. Let me know what you want to see. Stay safe out there. And for my American viewers, have a great and safe Memorial Day weekend.